Let's generate a printable application document for our sample purchase application. First, let's check that the wizard will use the application document template to ensure we generate the correct type of documentation. We can choose from one of 3 levels of detail for our documentation, so let's select Full Application Documentation. For information about the contents generated for each detail level, hover over the Help icon to the right of the drop-down list. We can opt to display the rule name or short descriptions when identifying each rule in the documentation. Since we've mostly dealt with the descriptions in this course, let's keep the default setting. Our other options in this section are to suppress class and rule set references and add links to the rules themselves. We haven't really discussed classes or rule sets in this course, so let's enable this option. And since we don't really need links to rules in our printed document, we can disable that option. The document table of contents lists all of the sections of our document. Since we changed the detail level, we should refresh our contents. We can ignore the rest of the options on this step for now. By default, the wizard selects all of the rule sets, case types, and document sections. Since we haven't really explored these concepts in this course, we can accept the default selections. We can create documentation at any point of the wizard, but let's review the other steps before we generate our document. In the Define step, we can select sample data for screenshots and select the criteria for our entity relationship diagrams. Entity relationship diagrams represent our application's data model in a visual format and are helpful for our application designers to understand an application's data structure. We haven't really discussed rule sets and classes in this course, and we need to understand these concepts to generate these diagrams. So, let's deselect this option for now. We can use an existing case to define our screenshot data. This option enables the wizard to populate our user interfaces with sample data when generating screenshots, which helps anyone who reads the documentation to understand the intent of each UI. In the Capture step, we can capture screenshots from our application. If we decided to define sample data in the previous step, it will appear in our screenshots. Otherwise, the screenshots will contain no data. Any screenshots that have already been captured appear in the screenshot catalog at the bottom of the form. If we were rerunning the wizard, we could capture screenshots for only those user interfaces that have changed, which speeds up the capturing process. Since this is our first attempt at documentation, we need to capture all of our screenshots. When we do, the wizard displays all of our UI on screen at one time, so it's important not to switch to another application until PRPC captures all of the UI used in our application. In the Order step, we can organize the contents of our document and decide what elements to include or exclude. We haven't really used application requirements, so let's exclude the requirement matrix. In addition, we can also add outside documents as either chapters or subchapters in our documentation. For example, if we wanted to add a summary of the application, we could upload that document as a new chapter and move it to the desired spot in the chapter order. Since we don't need to add any contents to our document, we can skip this part of the process. Now that we have completed the configuration steps in the wizard, we can generate our application document. The document wizard creates a new Microsoft Word document and adds the appropriate content from our application. When the wizard completes, we can save the document and distribute it as we wish.